Hey guys, it's Jessie here from Tonkadale, and this is the first installment of our Meet the Maker series. I'm here at Soul Soils with John and Travis, and they're going to show us how it's done. But first, you know what? I really want to hear about how you got started with soils, your origin story.
Perfect.
Go.
So, when COVID started, like millions of other people in America, started to lean toward indoor plants, ended up falling in love with specifically cacti. And realized pretty quickly so I ordered about 10 on Etsy. It was like kind of the original story. While we were waiting to buy soil and pots, I started researching. And so very quickly you realize a lot of the soil you can buy out there that's listed for cactus is going to kill your plant potentially. And so we started digging into other things and experimenting. And so we've had mixes now that have been tested for a couple of years with all of my personal plants. And so that's where it started.
Mm-hmm.
We started sort of dabbling into succulent needs a little bit more water retention, a little more nutrients. Leafy houseplants need a lot more water retention, nutrients. And then we were on vacation and we live in the same building, which is how we got started, which is about 3 minutes door to door from this very shop.
We met during the pandemic because we live in the same building. Ended up taking some trips together with a big group of friends. And I just heard over time about Travis's newfound cactus obsession. And he was telling me about the soil piece and how you couldn't find high quality soils on the market that weren't peat based and why peat was bad and sort of the whole gist behind the gritty mix. And so I was just fascinated by how much he taught himself and how much he learned in such a short amount of time. And I realized that there was a real market need for this. And I'd always wanted to own my own business. So I kind of helped push Travis to take this from a hobby and a personal experimentation kind of phase to offer it to a wider audience, and at least in the Twin Cities, and if not the wider country. So that's kind of how we got started. I said, hey, let's make this happen. We'll go 50-50 and let's make this into a real business. And 9 months later, here we are.
That's amazing. So you said you have a finance background?
Yes.
And you have a
Supply
chain background. So that kind of works with what you got going on here. I really liked the metaphor you kind of just brought up when we were in the back room mixing up some soils. And you said, I have a finance background, and because of that, I like a lot of diversity in my soil. So it was like, it's a diverse soil portfolio.
It works.
So tell us about like the meaning of that and why.
Yeah, I've actually thought about that a lot because I think there are a lot of recipes you can look up online. Everyone has different things. We were talking about using purely leca, and I think that can work for all sorts of things. I know that works well for cuttings and propagation, but I think not everything's going to love something with purely one type of medium. And so if we mix that in with something else that has a different purpose that retains nutrients or water or breaks down and gives the plant nutrients over time, like the organic matter, I think the more we can mix that up, the better.
Cool. And then, so supply chain management, I feel like you're kind of positioned to take this to the next level.
Yep, scaling this operation up is going to be our next big challenge. So, thinking about operations, manufacturing, sourcing, like even the volume we're just doing now here in March. We're already at the point where buying individual bags from local suppliers is not going to cut it. We're just churning through materials too fast. So, we've done a lot of sourcing work, trying to order in full pallet quantities directly from manufacturers. So, the supply chain backgrounds come in handy a lot. I've done specifically logistics in the past. So now that we're starting to dabble in shipping out of state, LTL shipping, parcel shipping, e-commerce. So all those things are kind of coming into play. So I think our skill sets and our professional careers have really complement each other well.
You sell soil and soil covers. Do you think you would like expand that and do like fertilizer or accessories or you want to kind of stay within a certain category?
So I would just say first, in addition to the soils and the toppers, we have started to expand into specific soil amendments.
Okay.
Because for other people that like us want to experiment with creating their own mixes.
Mm-hmm.
So like we've just started offering, like the chunky perlite by itself.
I love this.
Or
calcine clay.
So it's like a snack.
It does.
It does.
It's like popcorn. It's like white popcorn. Don't eat it.
Which is what we call out at the bottom here. Makes it truly terrible granola.
I saw that.
Sure.
Well, that made me giggle. That's the thing is like when you look at it and you have an emotional reaction. Like, I feel like that's a connection that you're making with the customer, and that's what's fun, and it gives you like a little tingle when you pick it up.
Yes.
It brings a human element to it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, inanimate package.
So you have a really cool value proposition. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So we have what John and I call the value proposition sticker here at the bottom. And so this is really like why would you buy Soul Soils over something a whole lot cheaper made out of peat moss for the most part? But A, it's going to be super fast draining. So I think what you worry about is like wet feet, which is roots that are sitting in like active water and then they can't get oxygen and they start to die and that kills all the way up through the plant. So these are super good at avoiding root rot with how quickly it drains and how quickly it dries. Totally peat moss free. So we talked about that in the back room a little bit, but we use coconut husks, so a recycled material and renewable, unlike peat moss. And then really like just the fact that we've done this in Minnesota is really unusual for one. But other than that, you've got really short days in the winter. You've got really weak sun of the short hours we have in the first place. And there's going to be like no airflow. It's really dry. Unless you've got fans blowing at your plants, you're at risk for rot.
So we were trying to come up with a name, a brand, a logo. Sol means sun in Spanish, and we came to learn later that it actually means soil in French too.
What?
So it's like a perfect, and it also sounds like soul, like your soul, and people have a really deep connection with their plants. So it just from a variety of angles it worked well. So it just popped in while we were brainstorming one day, and we're like, yes, that's it.
And it's very simple and quick.
Right.
It comes right off the tongue. I love the name. But tell us about what's going on here. Give us a little tour.
This is our new commercial space. So we've been in here. We've been officially open for 3 or 4 weeks now. We have been in business since last summer, but we, based on how fast we were growing, we needed more space. Travis and I both live right next door, so we've been looking for something that was close, convenient, and the Skyway connection allowing us to get here in the middle of a snowstorm is also ideal. So we really needed more space for operations, for material storage, for mixing, and some office space for us to work together and strategize on how to grow the business. And we found this place, which was perfect, and it had a little glass display window and a retail front, so we figured, this is perfect. Let's put this space to good use. Nobody's going to come to a dirt shop or dirt store, so let's sell some plants out of it. We had a bunch of plants that we sell at farmers markets, and so we've kind of turned it into a retail side of Soul Soils as well as the wholesale soil side. So it's been really fun. It's almost like 2 different businesses. So we've learned you're dealing with individual customers here, and on the soil side, we're dealing more with retail partners like Tonkadale. So it's been a really wide range of business experience, and the spaces work out perfectly. This is where we keep our mixed soils. So we, in order to help keep track of it in our minds, we keep it in order of the grittiness. So you're going to start with your most fast draining, which is going to be the bonsai. So you're going to go bonsai, cactus mix, succulent mix, houseplant mix, and then we've got a 5th place for our orchid mix, which we just released 2 weeks ago.
So this is our orchid mix.
Chunky perlite. What? Like it.
It's a much bigger piece.
That's the orchid mix?
Uh-huh. So
Really
that's
nice. You can mix that into regular potting soil for really nice.
you definitely could.
Some
Add
really
variation.
nice texture.
And we're actually going to release this as an amendment by itself too,
Oh yeah.
just because it's so unique.
This is the chunky perlite?
This is the chunky perlite, yeah.
So-
Volcanic glass.
Oh yeah, that's right. Volcanic glass. Okay, so what's over here?
So those are organic materials.
This is like,
Basically ground coconut husks.
oh, it's nice. It's very fine.
It is, I know.
Talk about why you use the core versus peat moss, which is pretty standard, almost like probably 30 to 60% of
Like every mix.
an average soil mix.
But peat moss is one of the biggest things that keeps greenhouse gases in a physical form, and so when that gets mined, those get released, and then if you use coconut coir, it's a whole lot easier to avoid greenhouse gas emissions, and you use up a recycled product. So it's something that's used for something else.
Yeah.
It would otherwise be trash, and so you can turn it into a soil product.
That's a lot of coconuts.
It's a lot of coconuts.
That's a lot of coconut. These are all soil covers.
Those are the toppers.
The toppers. So that's the Kona Gray.
Yeah, so we got granite in there.
This
We've
is
got
the granite?
some acidic limestone.
That's the pink quartz.
And that's pink
Oh.
quartz.
That's our Sedona red.
So the pink quartz is, so we used to have a bigger
Yeah.
component piece, and people didn't love it. It was just too big for small plants, and so we
Yeah.
found a much finer, like 3/8 inch.
I like that. And then this is the Sedona Red.
That is the original Soul, so that's the
Oh.
mix, like the tricolor.
Oh, tricolor. Love it. And then this is the
we're
gold.
trying to find different options for the future, so like tiny lava rock or black or white, different colors that mix it up a little bit more.
Like the sound. Oh, I think I got
There
a
you
little
go.
too much.
You can dump a little back to you too.
I want every single pebble. Cool. Woo!
That's it.
From a functional standpoint, the toppers will help to keep out pests. Fungus, gnats are a big one that will try to get into your soil. So not only is it a decorative touch, but it also helps protect a little bit against that. It also helps retain a little bit more moisture. You're not going to get as much absorbing out from the top. And really, for me, the decorative feature is my favorite part, because between the the pot type you choose, the plant you choose, and the topper, you have like infinite combinations of things. So when we're repotting out there, I almost always yell back to Travis, "Hey, what should we top this with?"
Yeah, with gold? Huh?
Because they all look good in their own ways, and sometimes the different colors complement certain plants better. So like
Yeah.
if we have an Opuntia that's green with little furry yellow dots on it, the yellow topper sometimes goes really well with that. So it gives you another element of customability, I guess.
Up here.
So that is our LECA. That is our lightweight expanded clay aggregate. So that is a man-made, super porous, and renewable option for a soil component. So that will absorb water and pull it away from the roots, but allow them to draw from it.
Oh, okay.
And so it won't sit in heavy water like a peat-based soil might lead to. It will draw it out and then allow the roots to take it. And when you fertilize it, it'll take that up as well.
So you
and
can
really
plant-
sit as needed.
You can plant just in the LECA.
Yeah.
Some people do.
This to me has been real. Like I don't get it. I'm getting old. I don't understand, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
I need the science. Okay, got it. Well, thank you so much for inviting us. Well, we kind of invited ourselves into your space. It's so awesome partnering with a local business like you. You can just see the passion and the excitement for the plants, and that's kind of what it's all about. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at Tonkadale.